Hello, my name is Silvia Shoyum and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I present you the Oika alumina plant accident from a sidereal Uranian astrology point of view. The toxic red sludge spill occurred on 4th of October 2010 at 12:05 p.m. in Oika, Hungary. Originally I noted down 12:05 p.m. However, if you are looking at the net, you will find additional time points, such as 12:25 p.m. However, we will be working with the 12:05 p.m. time point. This spill was an industrial accident due to multiple neglects, and approximately 1 million cubic meters of toxic red sludge was freed from a container, and it flooded several villages. 10 people died, approximately 150 were injured, and many animals also died. The survivors reported as they heard that the murmur of the sludge was mixed with the death rattle of the animals who were trapped in their barns. Afterwards, the red sludge reached the Torna Creek, where all living beings died, even bacteria. Then the red sludge reached the Marsa River, where it had the same kind of devastation. Then it went into the Drava and Danube River. So altogether, this was also an ecological catastrophe. This is going to be a sidereal analysis, not a Vedic analysis. However, all the positions of the personal points and the planets will be the same. So without saying much about the Vedic chart, I just would like to mention that its Lagna, in other words, the ascendant, is in deep and mysterious water sign Scorpio, and its ruler is in the 12th house. Please note that the ascendant's degree is 14 degrees 13 minutes, and we will convert later this chart into a circle mandala format where you will find the same degrees. So this chart will be analyzed from a sidereal Uranian astrology point of view. What is Uranian astrology? Well, modern Uranian astrology actually does not use any houses. However, it uses all the classical planets that are used in Western astrology and even more. It uses 8 additional trans-Neptunian planets, shortly TMPs. It also uses hard aspects, such as conjunction, opposition, square, and the semi-square family, mathematical precise midpoints, and their combinations called planetary pictures. It is also absolutely unique because it has a movable mathematical astrological dial that no other astrology branch has. The most popular is the 90-degree dial. The zero Aries point, or in other words, the vernal point, also has a very, very important role in Uranian astrology as it shows world events. Uranian astrology originally stems from Hamburg School astrology, founded by Alfred Witte, and I will be mostly using his interpretations found in his famous book, The Rules for Planetary Pictures. Here you can see the same chart as before, as shown by the previous South and North Indian chart formats. However, this time we are dealing with a circular mandala format. Here you can see that the position of the ascendant is the same, but now it contains additional planets, personal points, as well as the 8 trans-Neptunian planets. As I said, in Uranian astrology, the tropical zero Aries has a very important role. Of course, both the tropical and the sidereal zodiacs are state-of-the-art divisions of the sky. The sidereal zodiac is based on fixed stars and starts at sidereal zero Aries. However, actually the tropical zodiac is more like season-based, and it starts at the vernal point. The vernal point is one of the 2 points where the celestial equator meets the ecliptic plane. So actually this tropical zero Aries point, or here it's shown by VP standing for vernal point, marks the beginning of the tropical zodiac. The vernal point can be located in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, and it is found in approximately 5 or 6 degrees Sidereal Pisces in the 21st century. It is actually in that fish of the Pisces constellation that swims towards Aquarius. According to my experience, in fact, it is not only the tropical vernal point, so the tropical 0 Aries, but it is also that sidereal 0 Aries that likewise can be used to monitor world events. First, we will be looking at tropical 0 Aries. We can immediately see that tropical 0 Aries is in conjunction with Black Moon Lilith, the moon's apogee. What is more, true Black Moon Lilith is retrograde. Thus, we already know that this event was a negative event. In my interpretation, Black Moon Lilith stands for abuse, violence, rejection, and negative energies relating to women or the population. On top of that, it is on the IC axis. It is not marked here, but the MC is just opposite to it. So this means that the root of the event and the outcome of the event is very negative. In my interpretation, all planets that are retrograde have a very significant role in the shaping of an event or the energies that affect an individual. So opposite to this vernal point, Black Moon Lilith and IC axis, we can find the midheaven, which is actually missing from Jyotish astrology. It is conjunct Mercury, which stands for motion and thinking. As marked by these red lines, actually a grand cross is formed because the MC Mercury, Black Moon Lilith, vernal point, IC axis, both square Pluto and Hades. Pluto, in a positive sense, stands for transformation, but in a negative sense, it stands for underworld energies. Interestingly, opposite to it is Hades, a trans-Neptunian planet, which is a higher octave of Pluto, and it is also retrograde, showing that it is very important in the shaping of the event. Hades, similarly to Pluto, stands for underworld energies, but it also stands for everything that is unpleasant and disgusting. So we can see this very tight grand cross here, and grand crosses represent incredibly strong energies. If for any reason you don't want to work with trans-Neptunian planets, here you have still a very tight T-square. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch to the 90-degree dial, and what it does is that it will reshape all the hard aspects, so now they will be congregating next to each other. Here we can see that this is sidereal 0 Aries, and here we can see the vernal point in black, which is tropical 0 Aries. And now, as previously summarized, it is all in hard aspect with these points, so they look like conjunctions on the 90-degree dial. Without trying to find out all the possibilities, what these planetary pairs mean, I'm just going to say a few examples based on the legendary Vitta book. For example, if 0 Aries is in hard aspect with Black Moon Lilith, then we can say that bad things happen that concern females, public, or the nation. Here I have to tell you that actually Black Moon Lilith cannot be found in the Vitta book, it only has the moon. So whenever I work with true Black Moon Lilith, I use the moon instead and add a negative connotation. According to the Vitta and Lefeld book, 0 Aries in hard aspect with Hades means catastrophes, general poverty, plagues, misfortune, tribulation, and mines. And I think this is very interesting how the book describes it, because these reservoirs were under the ground and they resembled mines. Of course, the fact that Zero Aries is in hard aspect with Pluto and Hades conveys the same underbird energies. Zero Aries in hard aspect with Mercury means general thinking, general opinion, news, and I think it also means the motion of something. For example, in this case, it was a liquid. Now we can try to combine more than two of these energies together. For example, Zero Aries in hard aspect with Black Moon Lilith and Mercury means adverse public opinion, or the motion of something under adverse circumstances. Zero Aries in hard aspect with Black Moon Lilith and Hades means, for example, poor inhabitants, poor nation, losses of people, depressed mind, prisoners, or people held captive or as hostage. And this is again fascinating how the book describes it, because people and animals were trapped in their houses and they were basically held captive by the toxic red sludge. We can see that all these planetary pictures are also in hard aspect with Uranus, and that means that this event happened suddenly and unexpectedly without any warning. There is no time now to look at midpoints, so we can further explore the dial for other interesting hard aspects. And what we can see here is that although the orb is a little bit bigger than 1 degree, but evidently the moon is in hard aspect with Neptune. If we go back to the 360 mandala wheel format, we can see that this is an opposition and Neptune is retrograde. On top of that, Moon at the very end of Cancer is in a Gandanta position. Moon-Neptune hard aspects, according to the Vitta book, mean the following: change in weather, thin gas, air, to fall asleep, to dream, not quite clearly conscious, to be dazed, sensitive or feeble women or population, and deceiving or disappointed women or population. Interestingly, these are all also in hard aspect with Chiron, the wounded healer. So, because Chiron is also retrograde, we know that this change in weather or being dazed is somehow connected with being injured. There is also a very tight Neptune and Admetos hard aspect, which was actually a square on the 360 wheel. According to the Vitta book, Neptune and Admetos hard aspects stand for narcotics, poisons, a deadly poison or drink, freezing or thawing, and decay. And if we combine Moon with Neptune and Admetos, it means, for instance, that a nation is facing destruction and misfortune, and it is also the hour of desperation. So if we put together Moon, Neptune, Admetos, and Chiron, we can describe that there was a toxic liquid that caused destruction and injuries among women or the population. Still looking further at the dial, we can find additional interesting planetary pictures. Here we can see, for example, that Kronos is in hard aspect with nodes and Saturn. I am using true nodes, and Kronos is a trans-Neptunian planet and a higher octave of Saturn. It stands for the government, bureaucrats, and also for mastery. A Kronos node Saturn hard aspect, according to the book, means disagreeableness through the chief, hindrances by the power of the state, to be separated by the government or some superior power, and connections with corporations of economical instability. This planetary picture, in fact, overlaps with the Sun-Saturn node planetary picture and that stands for physical separations. We quite exhausted the 90-degree dial from the vernal point of view, but let's look at also at the sidereal point of view. As I mentioned, I think it can also be used to monitor world events. And what we can see is that interestingly, the sidereal 0 Aries point is opposite on the dial of the event's ascendant. That means that basically the environmental damage of the event got into the world news. We know this because if from the 90-degree dial we switch the 45-degree dial, then opposite to 0 Aries, we have now Pluto, Midheaven, Mercury, Hades, and Black Moon Lilith, together with the tropical vernal point. To sum up, using Uranian astrology techniques, it can be perfectly described that a community or nation is exposed to underworld energies that is related to an establishment like a mine. Living beings are injured by a toxic liquid. The government and the corporation or corporations also play a pivotal role in the event, of course via corruption. I hope you liked this Sidereal Uranian astrology analysis, and you can reach me on Facebook in the group Uranian Astrology or on the page Uranian Astrology. With vegan Uranian greetings, Sylvia.